Hello everyone, my name is Mariam Jawadwala, working as Assistant Professor for Department of Information and Technology, Vidyavardhani's College of Engineering and Technology, Vasai. In today's video lecture, I am going to explain Python arrays using NumPy module. This video lecture is in a continuation of earlier video lecture of Python arrays using NumPy. Let's move ahead. So in the last video lecture, we already discussed about arrays in Python using NumPy. So types of array we already discussed. We are having two types of array, single dimensional array and multi-dimensional array. Then working with arrays using NumPy, how to create array using NumPy. We discussed total 5 ways of creating NumPy arrays in last video lecture, and some of the mathematical operation on arrays, some of the ready-made methods are available which we can perform on NumPy arrays. So this topic we already discussed in last video lecture. Okay, in today's video lecture we are going to discuss about some new point, some more point regarding NumPy array, right? The first one is comparing arrays. If you want to compare two NumPy arrays, then how we can compare it? Then the next concept is array aliasing, right? Next one is viewing and copying of the array. After that, we are going to discuss in detail about slicing and indexing in NumPy arrays, and then dimension of arrays. Then we'll discuss about attributes of array. This point is very important. Okay, what are the attributes of array present in NumPy? We'll discuss in this point, and then we'll discuss two methods defined in NumPy array, that is reshape method and flatten method. Okay, so let's take each and every point one by one. The first one is comparing arrays. So we can use the relational operators like greater than equals to, less than equals to, and not equals to compare arrays of same size. So condition of comparing to array is the size of array should be same, means the number of rows, number of column, and dimension of arrays are same. Then only we can compare two arrays. So we can apply the relational operator here for NumPy arrays for comparing. So these operators compare the corresponding element of the array and return together with a Boolean type values. So this operation compare the corresponding element and return a type may be true or false. The return type may be a Boolean. So we can observe this using a program 35.py. Okay, I already written one program for comparing two array. Name of the program is 35.py. Let's jump to the program 35.py. So every program I write in Notepad++ editor using Notepad++ editor. So we'll move to the Notepad++ editor here. Okay, and name of my program is 35.py. Okay, let's open 35.py program here. My every program is stored in D drive STP folder, and name of the program is 35.py. So directly can write 35 here. 35.py is the name of the program. I open this program, right? This program is to compare two arrays. So obviously first you need to import the NumPy module, and then I declare two array A and B using array method, right? Array is one of the method for creating NumPy array, and I'm giving 4 element in A array. All are integer. B again integer array. Now I am creating one more array C using comparing operator. C equals to A equals to B. means what? The system will compare two array A and B, right, and generate resulting array C. And the output of C array, the element of C array is a Boolean values, either true or false. It will compare the corresponding element 1, 0. It will compare whether 1 or 0 are equals to equal or not. If not, then it will return false. If yes, then it will return true. See, the second element 2 and 2. System will compare 2 and 2. Both are equal. Then second element of array C will be true. Okay. So here system will display the C array, result of A equals to B, then C is equals to A greater than B. It compare the element of A are greater than B or not. Accordingly, it will generate the array C. Likewise, C is equals to A less than equals to B and C. All three print statement will return C array, right? And the value of C array is always a Boolean, maybe true or false. Let's run this program. So as you know how to run this program, 35.py, I run this program here. Okay, so this is the output. You can see it here. So print A equals to B, then this is the result. Only second element is true here. 2 equals to 2. All other elements are false. Next one, A greater than B, then the result will be true, then false, false, and false, right? Likewise, A less than equals to, the output is reverse over here. Okay. So hope you understand how to compare two array using relational operator. Okay, let's move to the presentation part again. Let's move to the presentation part again. Next, we can use any function and all function as a comparing to array. So what is the use of any function? Any function can be used to determine if any one element of array is true. And the all function can be used to determine whether all elements of the array are true or not. Right? To understand this, we are write one program that is 36.py to understand any function and all function. So let's stop the presentation for a while. Move to the 36.py program. So name of my program is 36.py student. 36.py. I open this program, right? So here I am using any function and all function. Okay. So any means if any of the element is true, and all means what? If all the elements are true. The corresponding, it will give the result. Okay. So we'll run this program here. Name of the program is 36.py. Right. So here you can check it. First print will give the result of A greater than B, as we seen in last program, right? Next print statement will give, check if any one element is true, right? Then it will return any C, right? So whatever we obtain from here, true, false, false, and false, right? So any one is true, yes, first element is true, then it will return true, right? And the next one is, it will using all function, means if all the elements are true or not. So here all the elements are not true of C array, then it will return what? False, right? Likewise, you can use any and all function for comparing in if condition. If any A greater than B, then it will result at least one element is greater than those of B, right? So all of you please go through this program with output. Please read this program and corresponding output. Let's move to the presentation part again. So we already seen about some relational operator, any function, all function, and then next is where function. So where function can be used to create a new array based on whether a given condition is true or false, right? Whether the condition is true or false, based on this, the new array will be created. So syntax for creating where function is, you need to create new array using a where condition, where you need to write, and then condition, then expression 1 and expression 2. Means if the condition is true, then element of the array is expression 1, otherwise expression 2, right? So here I write one program 37.py for understanding where function. So we'll open 37.py here. This program is to Python program to compare the corresponding element of two array, right? So here I declare two arrays A and B using array function. Both are integer type array, right? And using this two array, I want to create another array C, right? And if A greater than B, then take an element from A, otherwise B, right? So I write condition if A greater than B. Relational operator I am using. If the element of corresponding element of A is greater than B, then the value of C array will be A, otherwise B. Means it will take the greater element from both of the array, right? So just run this program here. Name of the program is 37.py, right? So system will display the element 10, then 21, then 30, 40, and 51. Means in this two arrays, the greater element will be the part of C array. Okay, it's very simple program. So hope you understand the concept of comparing two array. For comparing two array, we can use relational operator, we can use any function, all function, and where function to obtain third array. Okay. Next concept is array aliasing. So what do you mean by aliasing the array? Aliasing the array is nothing but if A is an array, we can assign it to B. Suppose I write B is equals to A. So this assignment operator is nothing but aliasing of the array. The value of A is tagged with B, means A and B are referencing the same array. This is called aliasing. So this figure will show the concept of aliasing. Suppose my A array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 integer array and I am using assignment operator B equals to A. Means the same element is referred by two tag name A and B. The memory location of element remains same, means the same memory location will be referred by two different name A and B. This concept is known as aliasing. So please note, aliasing is not copying. Aliasing means giving another name to the existing object. So we are giving the name, two different name to the same object. right? So the conclusion is, hence, any modification to the alias object will reflect in the existing object and vice versa. Okay, so suppose I change the any element of alias array B, then the aliasing will reflect the A tag name as well, right? So we'll refer one program for this, that is 38.py. This program is related to the concept of aliasing the array. .py is the name of the program, right? So here I import the NumPy module, right? And I create one array A using arrange method. This is one of the method to create the array in NumPy, right? 1 to 6 means is create an element with 1 to 5. The starting from 1 to 1 less than 6, 5, right? Now here I'm printing the original A, and B is equals to A means this is nothing but the aliasing. The array A is referred by another name B, right? Now what happened? I'm changing B0 is equals to 99 means I'm modifying the first element of array. Previously it is 1, now it is 99. Okay, and after this modification, I want to print the array A and B. So what will be the output, student? Right? Can you guess? What will be the output? Output will remain same for both of the array, because this is nothing but your aliasing of the array. The same array is referred by two different names. And suppose you change the element of one array, then obviously it will reflect to the another array or alias, right? So this is original array 1 2 3 4 5, aliasing array 1 2 3 4 y using b is equals to a, and after modification the first element is changed, right, for both a and b alias array. Okay, so hope you understand the concept of array aliasing well. Move ahead. So next one is viewing arrays. So we can create another copy of array using the existing array. This is done by the view method. So what view does? View method create a copy of an existing array such that a new array will also contain the same element found in existing array, and the original array and the newly created array will share a different memory location. So here this figure show the viewing of array A and B. Two arrays are there. So A arrays 1 2 3 4 5 means different copy of same array will be created in the memory. The first one 1 2 3 4 5 is referred by A, and the second copy is referred by B, right? So this is viewing. So there is a difference between aliasing and viewing. In aliasing, only single copy of object is available in computer memory, and that copy is referred by two different tag name. But in case of viewing of arrays, two different copies of same object is created in the computer memory, and they are referred by two different tag name A and B, right? So if newly created array is modified in case of viewing the array, then the element of both array is again modified, because all the elements are interconnected, right? We are having a view copy of both of the array. Means if you modify any of the element of any of the array, then the modification is reflected to both of the array. So we'll check one program 39.py for viewing the array. So here is my program 39.py. I open this program here, run किया है. Wait, first we need to open this program. Okay, 39.py program is here. So this program is for creating view for an array, right? So I'm using again arrange function to create my array. It will create array of 1 to 5. Now b is equals to a dot view. So here I'm using view method for creating a second array b. So it will create a view of a and call it as a b. So if I print original array and the new array, okay, then the element remains same, but they are stored in different memory location. So as you all know how to check the memory location of the object, print, and here you can write id a, id a. This statement will give me the address of array a, right? Same, suppose I write print id b. This statement will give me the address of array b, right? So if I run this program, then what is the output of print id a and print id b? Can you guess? The address will be same of a and b or different? Yes, please think about it. I run the program. Before that, I need to save it, right? So see here, the address of both of the array will be different because we are using view function over here, right? The view means a separate copy is created for each object. So instead of view, if I assign it b is equals to a here, I'm using aliasing, then the address of a and b will be same, right? Suppose instead of this, right? Instead of this statement, we'll make it comment, okay? And here I'm using b equals to a. This is nothing but your aliasing, right? Save this program here. Now tell me what is the address of A and B here? It should be same because this is aliasing. It's not a view, right? So we'll run the program again. See here the address is same. 6464 last digit 8464 means the address of array A and B are same because here we are using the concept of aliasing, right? But in the previous example, B equals to A dot view, we are viewing the array, means a different copy is created, so the address in the memory is different, right? Okay. Likewise here, if I assign, suppose again I will keep my program as it is. I make it comment here, right? And here I modify the element of newly created element b0 is equals to 99, means first element is modified. So after modification, what happened? The content of array A and B, both array will be modified, right? So again we run this program here, 39.py. Okay, so these are the content of original array, and if I modify the first element content, so using view, what happened? Both of the array content will be modified. So hope you understand the difference between viewing and aliasing of the array. Okay, so next very important concept is copying array. Copying array means what? Viewing is what? Viewing is nothing but copying only. It is called shadow copy. And suppose we want both the array to be independent, means if I modify one of the element of one array, it should not reflect my second array, right? So I cannot use view, right? View, what happen if I modify the content of one array, then the content of another array is modified again. I don't want this. I want independent copies of array in my computer memory. Then I should go for copying, right? So copy method is there for copying, right? Means when the newly created array is modified, it will not affect the existing array or vice versa. Okay. So this figure explain the copying of array, right? So A array is there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if I use copy function, then B array will be created in a different memory location, and there is no connection with this two array. Means if I modify one of the element of array A, then that modification will not reflect in the second array, right? So this concept will be explained in 40.py program. So there is a small difference between aliasing, viewing, and copying of the array, right? So you should understand this concept. 40.py here, right? So again, I create a array here using arrange function. B is equals to a dot copy, means I'm create a copy of a and call it as a B. Okay. So B is a copy of A. So I print original array A and original array and new array B, means elements will be same 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for A and B. Now suppose I modify the first element, B0 is equals to 99, means I'm modifying the content of B array, right? Then if I print the array A and array B, then what will be the content of A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and what will be the content of B? 99, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's a very simple concept. Hope you understand. We'll run the program here 40.py. Okay, so I already share all the programs with you. So you can try all this program along with this video lecture. You pause the video lecture for the moment, then run your program and try to modify the line of code and check the output according to your own logic. Then only you can understand something. Okay. So next important concept is slicing and indexing in NumPy array. Let's understand what do you mean by slicing and indexing in NumPy arrays. So slicing, you already know it. Slicing refers to the extracting a range of elements from the array. Means we need to create array with the existing array, right? And the newly created array is a part of the original array, right? So what is the format of slicing operation? You can write array name and in the square bracket start, colon stop, colon step size, right? And the default value for the start is 0. If you don't mention anything in a start index, then the array index is always start with the first element, 0th index. And for the stop is n. N is nothing but the number of element. If you don't mention a stop over here, then by default system will take entire array, right? And if you don't mention a step size, then the by default the value of a step size is 1, right? So this figure understand this figure will explain us the slicing operation, right? Suppose a array is there, so a0 1 2 3 4 5, this is nothing but the indexing. The first element is referred by a0, then a1 a2 a3 a4 and a5. So a5 is nothing but my sixth element, right? And suppose I write a1 to 6, so this is nothing but my slicing. I'm using slicing operation here. So this one indicates the starting position. So starting position start with 1 means array index starts with 0. Your second element is A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5, right? 6 means what? Up to the sixth element. 1 less than the 6. 6 minus 1 means A5 index, right? And suppose I write, so here step size is not defined. Step size is not defined means system will display the element one by one, right? By default, the step size will be 1, right? Next one, suppose I write A1, 6 and 2 means my array will start with the second element to the last element, and I write 2 here. 2 means what? Step size means the alternate element will be displayed starting from the second element, right? So my second element is 11, and after that the position of 11 is 1. So 1 plus 2 means which index will be displayed now? A3. So A3 is nothing but 13. Now 3 plus 2 is 5, is 15, and this is my A5, right? So this will be the last element. So this will be the output of this position. So hope you understand a slicing concept, right? And if we write A and then colon, we not mention any start, stop or step size over here, or I can write A and double colon without specifying anything for the start, stop and step size. So system will extract a element from 0th element till the end of the array, right? The entire array will be displayed if I write this A single colon or A double colon, right? And if we write A, then 2 and then colon. So 2 indicate what? The start element. Start element means the second element. Colon, and I didn't mention anything over here means it will display the last element up to the last element. The array will start with the second element and end at the last element. So to program to understand slicing operation on arrays is shown in 41.py. Okay, so let's see the program 41.py. This program is very important to understand slicing operation. Okay, so let's open this program 41.py. This is my program 41.py. Okay, this is nothing but a slicing of the array. I create one array using arrange function, start from 10 to 16, right? So we'll run this program first and check step by step execution. 41.py here. Okay, now I open the program here, right? So first print statement will display the element from 10 to 15, 1 less than 16. So how many elements are there? Total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 elements are there in my A array. Okay. Now I'm creating another array B from A using slicing operations. I write B is equals to A, 1, 6 and 2. 1 is my starting index, 6 is my stop index, and 2 is a step size. Means it will retrieve from first to one element prior to the sixth element, and the step size will be 2. Okay, so what is the first element? First element means 0th element is a 10, first element is 11. First system will first print 11, right? And then step size is 2, means it will print the alternate element 11, then 13, then 15, and 15 is my the last element, sixth element. So up to this the element will be printed. So using this, B is equals to A162, the B array will print the 3 element 11, 13 and 15, right? Next one, suppose I want to retrieve all elements from A, means B is nothing but B is similar as array A, right? Array aliasing I want, so I can view B is equals to A and then double colon and print B. So see the third print statement, the element of B array is same as element of A array. Alright. Now suppose till now we discuss the positive index for start, stop and step size. So negative index is also possible in slice function, right? And suppose I write b is equals to a minus 2. Minus 2 is a starting index. So minus 2 represent the second element from right hand side. If I write minus 1 means the last element or the first element from right hand side. The system will start printing the element from right to left. If I mention here minus, and suppose I mention plus here, then left to right. Minus means right to left. Minus 2 means second element will be printed first, right? And here minus 1 is my index size, means array will print from right to left and the second element. So how many elements are going to print over here? 2, right? So start with the second element 14 to 13. So stop index is 2, means 2 elements are going to print over here from right hand side, 14 and 13. Okay. And suppose I write b equals to starting index is not there, step size is not there, and write minus 2 here. Minus 2 means retrieve from 0 to 1 element prior to the fourth element, right? The system will display starting from the first element to the fourth element. 10, 11, 12 and 13 will be displayed over here, right? Because starting and ending is not mentioned. And minus 2 means what? System will start printing from the 13 second last element to the 10, 11, 12 and 13. Okay. So hope you understand the slicing well. So please concentrate on negative index. Negative index is very important. Negative index means the printing of the element from right to left, and positive index means printing of the element from left to right. So this feature is unique in Python. This was not there in C and Java language. In C and Java language, index is always positive, but here in slicing operation you can use negative index as well to create another array, right? Next, indexing. So what is indexing? Indexing refers to the location of the element by specifying the location number from 0 onwards till n minus 1, right? So I can refer first element by a0, second a1 and a n minus 1 nothing but my last element, right? So one simple program I write here, 40.2.py for indexing. Okay, let us discuss 42.py here. I open program 42.py. So this is for indexing. I import numpy array over here. I create a array using arrange function. So what are the elements? 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. The system will print 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, right? And here I'm creating another array, A, same array, A is equals to A, 1, 6 and 2. Means it retrieve from first to one element prior to sixth element and step size is 2, right? So what will be the output of this? 162, start 11, then 13 and then 15 will be the output. Let's run this program. The name of the program is 42.py. Okay, you can stop the presentation and run the program 42.py with me. Okay, here. So this is my original array A, and this is again A array after applying the slicing operation, right? Now, here I am using the indexing concept using while loop, right? And I declare one loop variable I equals to 0, and while I less than len a, len function is nothing but the function which give the number of element present in array A, right? So how many elements are there here? We are having total 6 elements. So this will give you the sixth element, right? And the system will print AI, means array index always start with the 0. So I declare here system first will print A0, then A1, A2, A3, A4 and A5, right? But in A array you are having only 3 elements. First it will print 11, then 13 and then 15. So what is the lane A here? Lane A, length of array A is 3, not 6. Is 3 now, 1 2 3, not 6, because I am applying slicing operation first and then printing the value using indexing concept. Okay, so this example consists of concept of okay, hope you understand this. Arrangement of element in the array, right? When an array contains only one row and one column, then it is known as 1D array or one dimensional array, right? And if array contain more than one row and one column, then it is known as two-dimensional or 2D array, right? And what is 3D array? 3D array is nothing but the combination of several 2D arrays. So here 2D array and 3D array are nothing but my multi-dimensional array, right? So to understand the concept of 1D, 2D and 3D array, I write one program that is 43.py to understand what is 1D, 2D and 3D array, right? So let's move to the program 43.py here. What's the name of the program? 43.py, right? This is my program 43.py. Okay. So first I create array 1, ARR1, right? With only single row, right? Using array function. So this is the syntax for creating array. So I print 1D array here. So what is the output of this? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now array with one column. So my ARR2 array is again 1D array but with the column matrix. So what will be the output of this? 10, 20, 30 and 40. So my ARR1 and ARR2 are the example of 1D array, means using single row and single column. Okay. So I run this program first, 43.py. I open the program. Okay, so 1D array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 10, 20, 30 and 40. Two arrays are printed here, array 1 and array 2. Right? So this is the simple example to create 1D array. Now next one, to create 2D array with 2 rows and 3 columns. So how can I create 2D array? Array 2 equals to array using array function in small bracket. First I write 1 2 3. 1 2 3 means one row, then comma 4 5 6. This is my second row and entire this row is again consists inside the square bracket, right? So in this way I can create my 2D array, and if I print it, then this is the output. 2D array will be 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? So 2D array is a combination of several 1D array, right? Now, what is 3D array? 3D array, if I write array 3 is equals to array, 3D array is a combination of several 2D array. So, see, in one line I'm declaring one 2D array, and in the next line I am declaring another 2D array. So, this array 3 is nothing but the combination of two 2D array, right? The first 2D array is this 1 2 3 4 5 6, and second 2D array is 1 1 1 1 0. Okay, so I can create 3D array using 2D array, and I can create 2D array using 1D array in NumPy. So hope you understand how to create multi-dimensional array. Okay. Let's move to presentation part again. So this is all about dimension of the array. Next comes to the attribute and methods of NumPy array. Right. So this slide is very important. We should understand all the methods and attribute defined in NumPy array. So NumPy array class is also known as ND array, right? This class consists of 6 important attributes or variables and 2 methods, right? So first attribute is name attribute, second one is shape attribute, third one is size attribute, next one is item size attribute, then next we are having d type attribute, and then we are having n bytes attributes. So these 6 are attributes or variable defined in NumPy array class, and 2 methods, reshape method and flatten method. This is again defined in NumPy array class. Okay, so we'll discuss each and every attribute and method in next slide with example. So let us first discuss attributes of NumPy array. So first attribute is ndim. So what do you mean by ndim attribute? Ndim attribute represent the number of dimension. As the name suggests, n means number, dim means dimension. So ndim attribute represent the number of dimension or axis of the array, right? And number of dimensions are nothing but the rank. You know, in mathematics, the number of dimension of array is nothing but the rank. So for single dimensional array it is 1, and for 2-dimensional array it is 2, right? And for 3-dimensional array ndim is nothing but 3. So if I'm using ndim attribute in 1D array, then it will display 1, only one dimension is there. 2D array, for it will display the 2, and for 3D array it will display the 3. Likewise, for n dimensional array it will display the n, right? So hope you understand ndim attribute means the number of dimension or the rank of the matrix. Okay. Next attribute is the shape attribute. The shape attribute gives the shape of the array, right? The shape is a tuple listing of the number of elements along each dimension, right? And a dimension is nothing but the axis. So this is nothing but the tuple listing of number of elements along with each direction. For example, for 1D array, shape attribute will give us the number of elements in the row or the number of elements in the column, right? And for 2D array, it specifies the number of rows and number of column, right? Number of rows and number of column in each row, right? And for 3D array, it will display the number of 2D arrays, number of rows in each 2D array, and the number of column in each row. Okay. So we'll take one example here, 44.py, to understand all the attributes. First, I read all the definition of attributes, right? And the next attribute is the size attribute. Size attribute gives the total number of element in the array. The number of element present in the array is given by the size attribute, right? So here you just need to count the number of element, whether it is 1D array, 2D array, 3D array, right? Now next one, item size. Item size attribute gives the memory size of the array element in the bytes. How much memory is required to store the array in bytes is given by the item size attribute, right? Next attribute, the D type. As the name suggests, D type means what? A data type of an element in the array. Means whether the element is stored in the array is are integer or float or decimal or a string. So ND type will give the data types of the element, right? Next important sixth feature is sixth attribute is n bytes. N bytes gives the total number of bytes occupied by an array, right? So total number of bytes are size of array into item size. right? So n bytes is nothing but the size of the array, means number of elements, into the item size, how much byte is required to store the each element, right, of the array. So we'll take one example, 44.py. Here I'm writing 1D, 2D and 3D array, and going to apply all 6 attribute on all 6 types of, all 3 types of array, right? Let's see 44.py program over here. 44 or 45? 44.py, right? I open the program 44.py. Great. Name of the program is 44.py student. I open this program over here. Okay. So this is my program. So what happened in this program? First, I create 1D array. Yeah, using array function, right? ARR1 array 1 2 3 4 5. So print statement, first print statement will print the array, right? And then I apply all 6 attribute for this 1D array, right? Like I create ARR2, means this is the example of 2D array, and again I apply all 6 attribute for 2D array, right? Next one, I write one 3D array and apply all 6 attribute for 3D array, right? So as you all know, I am applying all the attributes defined in NumPy module. So how can I call the attribute? First, I need to write the object name dot attribute name, right? Kindly note. Okay, so before that, you need to import the NumPy module, right? Let's run this program here. 44.py. This is my program. .py. Let's check one by one. So first print statement will display the 1D array here. 1D array will be 1 2 3 4 5 using array function, right? Now ndim, you know, ndim attribute is for displaying the dimension of that array. So if ARR1 is my 1D array, so it will display one dimension, right? Next one, shape attribute. Array1 dot shape means it will give you the number of elements present in 1D array. How many elements are there? 1 2 3 4 5. This 5 comma this means number of elements present. 5 comma nothing means this is the output of 1D array, only the number of elements present, right? Now next one is size attribute. Size attribute means what? Size attribute will give us the number of size attribute will give us the number of elements 5. So 1 2 3 4 5 elements are there, then it will display 5 here, right? Now next one, item size. Item size means what? The number of bytes required to store the array. So this is my integer array. For integer array I require 4 bytes. The 4 is nothing but the size of item size, right? Next attribute, d type. D type will give me the data type of the array. So here the output is int32. The integer 32 will be the output. And suppose my array will be floating point value. So here I write 2.0 here, right? And if I run the same program, then what will be the output over here? D type give us the float value here. Instead of integer, it will give us float, right? Because if one of the element is float, then entire array will become the float array. Okay. So later on, I will save it and give you the output for floating point. Right now, you understand this program here only, right? So this is my D type, and last one is n bytes. So n bytes means number of element. So how many elements are there? Total 5 elements, and the size of each element, that is 4, right? So 5 into 4 is 20. 20 is nothing but total number of bytes required to store the entire array is 20, right? This is all about my 1D array. So same attribute we apply for 2D array, right? 2D array. First I create one 2D array using ARR2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 rows, 3 column, right? So ARR2, print ARR2 will display my entire array, right? Now ndim attribute will give the number of dimension, right? So here it will give you, it's a 2D array, then it will display 2, right? Next one, shape attribute. Shape attribute will display the number of rows and number of column. So how many number of rows are there? 2. And for number of column, 3. Okay, so note down in 1D array, shape attribute will display the number of elements, right? Here it is displaying what? Number of element 5. But here it will display the number of rows and number of column in 2D array, right? Next, size attribute array2 dot size means number of element present in 2D array. How many elements are there? Total 6 elements. This will display the 6 here. Right? Next one, item size means if the array is integer, then it will display 4, right? And then D type, again D type means your array is integer type, then it will display int32 here, right? And then n bytes. N bytes is nothing but the number of total number of bytes required to store the array is nothing but 6 into 4, 24. Okay, so this is an example of my 2D array. Now next I create ARR3. ARR3 using 3D array, right? So I'm creating ARR3. 3D array is nothing but I can create 3D array using a 2D array. So first row indicate my first 2D array, second row indicate my second 2D array, right? So I can prepare here ARR3 array using 2D array, right? I print here, print ARR3. This is the output here. 1, 2.53 and 4, 5, 6, right? And here 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. This is the output, right? Now suppose I apply ndim attribute over here, number of dimension. Obviously it will give you, it's a 3D array, then it will display 3, right? Now next one is shape attribute. Shape attribute display the 3 argument in case of 3D array. First argument is nothing but number of 2D arrays. So how many 2D arrays are there for ARR3? We are creating ARR3 using 2D arrays. 2 will display. And then next 2. Next 2 is nothing but number of rows in each 2D array. In first 2D array we are having 2, second again 2, so it will display 2, and then 3, the number of columns in each row, which is 3, 2, 2, 3. So in shape attribute, if you apply shape attribute in 1D array, then only one argument will be print. If you apply the shape attribute in 2D array, then 2 argument will print, and you apply the shape array in 3D array, then it will display the 3 array. Likewise for n dimensional array, right? Next one is item size. Okay, item size will display the memory required to store the array. So here it is displaying 12. Bytes are total number of elements are 12. So it's displaying 12 here. Total 12 elements are there, right? Using size, and then item size. Item size means the number of bytes required to store. So here I write 2.5. 2.5, one of the element is the float, right? So number of bytes will change. So 8 bytes is required to store the floating point, right? In D type, data type is float, 64, right? And the number of bytes is nothing but 12 into 8, size and item size, right? Size is 12 and 8 is item size. 96 bytes are required to store the entire 3D array. Okay, so hope you understand this program well. Please try this program on your system, modify the elements. Okay. Okay, change the data types and the number of elements and check all the attributes. Okay. The name of the program is 43. 43.py here. 44. 44.py, right? So here if you remember, I changed the data type. Previously it is integer, now it is float. Okay. So let's move to the presentation part again. So this is all about attributes of the array. Discuss total 6 attributes of array on 1D, 2D and 3D array. Now we discuss in this slide the methods of NumPy array. So NumPy array support two methods. First one is reshape method and second one is flatten method. So reshape method is useful to change the shape of an array, right? You know what is the shape of the array, right? The new array should be have the same number of element as the original array. Shape of the array, suppose I want to change the shape of the array. If suppose the previously array is 1D array and I want to convert that 1D array to 2D array, or suppose 1D array is there and I want to convert the 1D array to 3D array, then I can use the reshape method, right? So one program I write 45.py to detail explanation for the same, for the reshape method. Okay, so we'll move to the programming part so that you understand the meaning of reshape method and how to use the reshape method in your Python program. So this program is for reshape, right? So I create one 1D array over here, array 1 arranged in, right? And this is my 1D array. So total 10 elements are there here, right? And then using reshape method, I'm changing the shape of the attribute. Previously it is 1D array. Using reshape method, what happened? My array will convert it to 2D array, 2 rows and 5 column, right? And suppose I write reshape 5 comma 2 means my array will convert it to 5 rows and 2 columns, right? Let's run this program and check the output. 45.py here. So arrange function will give me one array of 10 elements, start with the 0. 1D array consists of total 10 elements, start from 0 to 9, right? Now next one, I'm using reshape method over here. Reshape 2 comma 5 means the system will print at one 2D array with 2 rows and 5 columns. Means entire 10 element is divided into 2 rows and 5 columns. And suppose I am using reshape 5 comma 2 means entire 10 elements is divided into 5 rows and 2 columns. First row consists of 2 elements, then 0, 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9. Right? So in this way I can use the reshape method for 1D array. 1D array is going to convert it into 2D array here, right? Now suppose I create a 2D array here. ARR2 is my 2D array, right? With 2 rows and 3 columns, and I print it. Now ARR2 is equals to ARR2 dot reshape 3 comma 2 and print ARR2 means the previously my array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and it is reshaped to 3 rows and 2 column. Previously it is 2 rows and 3 column. Now it is 3 rows and 2 column. And element remains same. Elements are rearranged. First row consists of 1, 2, then 3, 4, then 5, 6. Right? Now next one, I write one 3D array over here with two 2D arrays, right? And how many elements are there total? 12 elements are there, and I'm using reshape method over here on 3D array, and 6,2 means my 3D array is converted into a 2D array, right? And 2D array with 3, 4, 5 rows and 2 columns in each row. Okay, so my elements are rearranged in this way using a reshape method. So hope you understand the meaning of reshape method. Reshape method will change the shape of the original array, right? The next method is flatten method. As the name suggests, flatten method. Flatten means is useful to return the copy of array collapsed into one dimensional. Means if the input is any dimensional array, maybe a 1D array, 2D array, 3D array, or ND array, is going to convert it into 1D array. Means entire elements of array is collapsed into a 1D array. So I write a simple program 46.py for the same. It's a very simple program, and as a last program for this video lecture, hope 46.py is my program using flatten method. So you already have this program. Try to run your program on your system, right? So here I create one 2D array, ARR2 array with 2 rows and 3 columns. Print the array, and then I'm using ARR2 is equals to ARR2 dot flatten method. So what will be the output here, student? Very simple. This 2D array is converted into 1D array. Means elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Like here, ARR3 is an example of 3D array. Here I'm using the flatten method. What is the output after flatten method? All the 12 elements are collapsed into 1D array. Right? So let's move the program 46. Let's run this program 46.py. Right? This is my program 46 2D array. Initially 2D array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and if I apply the flatten method, then the element will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And for 3D array, the elements are this. And if we apply the flatten method, then my 3D array is converted into 1D array, right? And for all elements, see 1.2.53 point is displayed because one of the element is one of the all the elements are decimal, right? That's why. So this is all about today's video lecture. So using this video lecture, we understand how to compare two array. What do you mean by aliasing, viewing, and copying of the array with example? Then we understand what do you mean by slicing and indexing, and we write a program using slicing and indexing. Then we understand what do you mean by dimension of the array. If you understand dimension of the array well, then only you can apply the attribute of the array. The 6-point attribute of the array is very important. You should write a program using all 6 attributes on 1D, 2D, and 3D array. And the last slide we discuss about reshape and flatten method. Flatten method defined in NumPy module. So hope you understand this video lecture well. So if you have any doubt, then you can mail me on mail your queries on mariamrodjawatwala@vcet.edu.in. And again, all my video lecture is prepared from a reference book, Dr. R. and